I never thought silence could hurt. That night, I realized there are places where silence screams, and in the old cemetery of San Andres de los Sauces, it screams my name. My name is Daniel Rivera, and what I'm about to tell you is not a legend. It's not a nightmare. It's not something made up to scare people. It's my truth, and if you choose not to believe it, that's fine. But when you hear a creak in the dark, or see a cross twist by itself, you'll remember me. It all started with a dare. My friend Morrow, obsessed with paranormal stuff, dared us to spend the night in that abandoned cemetery. According to him, something strange happened at 3:33 a.m. The crosses would twist one by one, like something beneath the ground was trying to get out. I laughed. I even mocked him. I never believed in those things. So I accepted the challenge. Morrow drove me there. We arrived around 2:30. The place was covered in fog, surrounded by tall, dry trees that creaked like they were whispering to each other. The cemetery was small, neglected. The iron gate stood wide open, rusted and crooked. Inside, the gravestones sagged into the soft earth. Some crosses were upright, others tilted, some broken in half. The whole place smelled of damp soil, rotting wood, and something else I couldn't identify at the time. Something I now recognize as the scent of unburied death. Morrow handed me a flashlight, a thermos of coffee, and patted my shoulder. "I'll be back at dawn, tough guy," he said with a grin, then drove off into the trees. At first, everything felt normal. I sat near a headless angel statue in one corner of the graveyard. I checked the time, 2:57. Still a while before the so-called cursed hour. I put on my headphones and played some music, trying to stay awake. But then, out of nowhere, the music stopped. The battery had been at 80%. Now the screen was dead. Annoyed, I took off my headphones. And that's when I heard it. A creak. Slow. Deep, like with being twisted. Not a tree. Not the wind. Something else. It was coming from inside the cemetery. Close. Between the graves. I stood up slowly and scanned the area with my flashlight, trying to convince myself it was just my imagination. Then I saw a cross fall. I swear, it turned on its own and collapsed into ground, like something underneath had pushed it from below. I froze. I stepped back instinctively. But something inside me, instead of running, told me to stay. Maybe pride. Maybe fear of admitting that something was seriously wrong. I checked the time again. 3:25, 8 minutes left. Then I noticed something else. The crosses were shifting. Not all of them, but many. Some started to lean, just slightly, and all turning toward me. There was no wind, no animals, just this heavy silence, like a presence pressing into my ears and chest. At exactly 3:30 a.m., the air changed. It turned colder, denser. Breathing became harder. The darkness deepened. Not from clouds or moonlight. It was like something had come between me and the sky. And then I saw it, a figure at the far end of the cemetery. Tall, taller than any man, dressed in what looked like tattered, soaked cloth that clung to its form. It had no face, just emptiness where its eyes should have been. And in its hands it held rusty nails. Long, thick, black and like they'd been pulled from ancient coffins. It walked slowly, each step silent. But every time it moved, a cross twisted. I couldn't move. My legs were rooted to the ground. Literally. It felt like invisible roots were wrapped around my ankles, holding me in place. Then behind me, the earth cracked open. A new cross rose from the soil. Fresh wood, damp and splintered. And carved into it, by hand, in crude letters was my name. Daniel Rivera. Born 1993. Died. The death date was blank. The figure stopped in front of me. It stared with its hollow face, then extended one hand, the one holding the largest nail, and placed it in my palm. Its fingers closed mine around it. Cold, dry, like bone. And then I heard a voice. Not from its mouth, not from the air. It echoed inside my head. Not yet, but you will return. In that moment, everything vanished. I blacked out. When I opened my eyes, I was lying outside the cemetery gate, covered in mud, trembling, still holding the nail in my clenched fist. I searched for Morrow. I called his name. Nothing. They never found him. Days later, his car was discovered miles away. Empty. No signs of violence. Only a small twisted cross on the passenger seat, with his name carved into it. Since that night, every single dawn at 3:33, the nail appears wherever I am. Doesn't matter if I bury it, burn it, lock it up, it always comes back. And in my bedroom, above my bed, hangs a cross my mother gave me when I was a child. It was always straight. Now it's crooked. Tomorrow is November 19th. It'll be exactly 1 year since that night. And I know, I can feel the earth calling, the air growing heavy again, the cross is starting to turn. I know I'll go back to that cemetery, not by choice, but because a nail is waiting, a cross with my name, and a debt that was never paid. The hour is coming, the hour of the twisted crosses.